What is up, everyone? It's Friday, first weekend of March Madness NCAA Tournament. Riding solo until Kurt gets in here. He should be here in a couple minutes. Interesting Thursday slate of games. It ended with a bang with that Samford Kansas game that kind of went nuts. Was hoping it would go to overtime. Had a good day myself with my main lineup, top 5% or so. Just a bummer that I ran into two just really top level teams in the bracket mania. Sucks to have such a good team and lose both by 2 points and 4 points. That was a bummer, but we move on. We've got a different slate today. Yesterday we had just a ton of value everywhere and a lot of mispricings. We're kind of back to a normal slate here today, so very different looking slate overall. Tougher to make lineups. There's not locks all over the board. We're going to see less overlap in lineups today overall. But yeah, we got 16 games. So let's just get into it. It starts with Northwestern FAU, 12:15 Eastern. Really good one to start us off today. We kind of got off to a slow start on Thursday, but some good games early here on Friday. I've got Ken Palm with it, FAU 74-73. Northwestern, slow tempo team, bottom 20 tempo, but FAU is going to try to push the pace here, 138th in tempo. So big, pace spot for Boo Buie, Brooks Barnheiser, the two studs for Northwestern. They're reasonably priced here. I think that you can play these guys in tournaments. Like I said, with the tougher pricing, it's going to be hard to get to guys above 8K unless you take a chance on maybe a middling value guy. But Boo Buie, awesome scorer. Going to be able to work in the mid-range against the FAU defense here. He's pretty scoring reliant, so he's that type of player, whereas Barnheiser's the guy who's live for the 2x2, like the double-double. We have a really good projection on both guys here, so I like that. With Nicholson out, we're probably going to see Luke Hunger start at the 5. He's 3,400. He's a total NPC. He does nothing out there. The role is kind of iffy. Not entirely sure if he's going to play, 18 minutes or 32. He played a bit more last game because of foul trouble from the other guys on the team. So, I wouldn't take that 30-plus minutes as gospel there. Just kind of tough for me to get to him on a main lineup, but I think he's a reasonable play, at least if you're trying to get up to the top level guys. It would just suck to kind of start the day playing a 3,400 Hunger and he gives you like 4 DK. So that's kind of where I'm at there. And then on FAU, it's the same story as we've had the entire season. They've got 3 guys who are in play, the 3, quote unquote studs. Vlad Golden is just priced way, way up here. We've seen him in the mid 6Ks, high 6Ks for a lot of the season. He comes in here 8K in a massive pace down spot against a defense that notoriously limits big men. So don't have much interest in him outside of, like the $20 MME stuff. And then I think my favorite play on FAU has got to be John L. Davis, microwave scorer, can get it done in a bunch of different ways. We've seen him up as high as 9K this year. We actually haven't seen him under 8K in what feels like a while. He's at 7,900 here. Not a priority play, but I think a good play. You play one from each side here in a tournament, I think is fine. Just because, Buie, Barnheiser, Golden, Davis do have big time upside here. Elijah Martin also in play at 7K. He's just been pretty volatile. So, just be aware there that he has games where he'll give you 20 and games where he'll give you 35. So not much consistency there. I see Kurt's joined us here. What's happening, Kurt? How's your morning? Kurt's muted. Oh, no, Kurt, you're muted.
Is it? It didn't say it was muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now.
I didn't say it was muted. Yeah, hectic morning. That's why I'm late. But tougher slate. I think I like it because obviously we got screwed yesterday by the high scoring slate. So um, even though there's no mania, maybe this will be beneficial to us and we'll get some come back in this first game. It's like, I mean, you can take a shot on Blake Preston. He's still cheap, I guess, but there's no real need. I think Golden, like Northwestern, can't defend inside without Matthew Nichols anymore. But what's old Big Vlad priced at here? I'm just pulling out the projections. So 8K.
He's up
That's
to
tough.
8K.
That is
Yeah.
That's tough. So I'll probably be Xing off this game. Besides maybe a Preston in my pool.
Yeah, I think you can take a Boo Booey or a Barnheiser in the pace up, but not a ton of interest overall. Let's go to the next game, Colgate Baylor. Ken Palm's got it, Baylor 77-64. Both teams, between 250 and 300 in tempo, so not the fastest game here. Baylor, pretty weak defensive team for a top seed. The issue with Colgate, guys, is they run a pretty gnarly rotation behind Braden Smith, their stud guard. We've got a good projection on him. Just with the 64 team total, I think it's kind of tough for like a main lineup, but I think Braden Smith is interesting for tournaments. He's the leading usage guy, top 15 assist rate nationally, so pretty good floor there. Cummins at 3-4 has started 5 straight games. He's super cheap. Doesn't have much ceiling, but that could open up a stud for you if you're trying to go stars and scrubs on the slate. And then on the Baylor side, Ray J. Dennis, we got a really good price on him here at 7-2. Awesome assist rate. He's got great assist upside, and he's priced down a bit in this spot. I think he's super safe on this slate. Baylor's got a team total up near 80. They should win this game pretty comfortably. I like him the best on Baylor. Not a ton of interest in Jacoby Walter when he's priced so close to Ray J. Dennis. Would rather just find the 800 for Dennis there. And then Yves Misi is super interesting for tournaments. He is about as volatile as they come at forward. He could foul out in 8 minutes, or if he's able to stay on the court, he is going to out-athlete this Colgate team like crazy. So we could see like a big rebound and block upside game for Misi here. Just know that he is as volatile as they come there. But at 6-1, I think he's worth the risk in tournaments. What do you like here, Kurt?
A lot of tournament shots on the Baylor side. Yves Misi, we talk about these Power 5 bigs versus smaller schools. They can kind of just completely manhandle them. If you watch the first 10 minutes of the Tennessee game yesterday, obviously I'm not comparing the dude to Misi, but like we saw all kinds of stuff yesterday with the Power 5 bigs just absolutely going ham. The piano, that's funny. So yeah, Yves Misi, Bridges always has a high ceiling. Dennis is cheap. I think I'm probably only going to play one max on my teams, but I think they're fine for tournaments. No priorities, but maybe some luxury guys you just kind of throw in. For Colgate, it's probably Braden Smith for me. And the Cummings guy you mentioned, like today's name of the game for me is rotating these like ugly values. Like probably like Cummings more than my previously mentioned Blake Preston, but there's going to be a lot of guys like that. And I kind of like slates like this where like not only do you have to pick the right value, you also have to have it in the lineup with the correct pieces too. It's just a complete shit show. And I love the shit show. So that's the only two guys I'm mentioning. That rotation of them is absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, I think we're going to get a much lower scoring slate today, which will be good. Yeah. I have more interest in Ray J. Dennis here. I think he's main lineup viable here in this spot with the team total up near 80. I just think he's super safe to have like a bunch of assists here. He's going to play the whole game.
I could definitely see myself having him in the Survivor. I agree.
Yeah. All right, let's keep it moving. Really good game here in the first window. UAB, who was awesome down the stretch, gets San Diego State. Ken Palm's got it San Diego State 76-67. UAB led by their two studs, Yaxel Lendenborg, who, if you haven't seen him, man, he's been awesome. One of the best rebounders in the country. Price is way, way up here, though, Kurt. 9.2K for Lendenborg. Gone are the days where we're playing him at 7K, 7.2, 7. He's been creeping up for a month and a half now. So really tough to get to him here, especially against a slower, tough defensive team like San Diego State. But kind of hoping that UAB gets through this game. That would be interesting moving forward. Eric Gaines was also awesome in their conference tournament. Lots of steals, nuked a bunch of those games. I know you're doing those playbooks, Kurt. I'm sure, you're probably writing, Eric Gaines is 8K, but he keeps putting up 40 balls on us. So, what do you do? And then on the other side, Jaden Ledee, kind of the same deal. He's their one-man band. Everyone outside of him, I think, is pretty unplayable just because they're kind of priced up. They rotate usage outside of him, and he's 9K himself. So, I don't love the value on this slate. I'm probably going to be playing more of, living in the 7K range than the 9K range, at least for my main lineup. Any thoughts here, Kurt, on the three studs that we've got in this game?
So it's just, I would love to get the Lindenborg, but the value is just not strong. Like you said, you're really living in the mid-tier range today. I would like to play Ledee. I think this is a good matchup, but it's just a lot when I can just save $300 and play flip. Everyone loves going back to flip. I really like, my favorite play in this game is probably Vasquez. Been good to me besides that one time he tried to fucking punch a player. He got kicked out like 7 minutes into the game. But besides that, it's some GPP shots. I really think Vasquez is potentially a main team survivor play. Like Dennis and him could be the two guys I play early in the first three. And I'm really like prioritizing getting in. But besides that, it's just some GPP shots.
Yeah, Vasquez was good in the tournament. We've got a good projection on him at RPS. If you end up in that mid 5K range, I think he's fine. We've got him for 31 minutes. Seems pretty safe in this spot. All right, let's keep it moving. Western Kentucky Marquette, the last game in the first window here. Ken Palm's got it Marquette 86-71. The big thing here, Kurt, is the injury status of Kolek and Oso. Kolek, of course, missed the Big East tournament. Oso missed the last part of their last game with a knee injury. Seems like Oso is going to be fine. Kolek is going to play, but, what his health is a major question mark, at least for me. I think these Marquette guys are great plays. Western Kentucky, number one in the country in tempo, Kurt. So, they're going to get up and down. Marquette will run with them. We have a 160-ish total in this game, which is high here. One of the highest of the slate, maybe the highest of the slate. We saw when Kolek was out, Cam Jones was just awesome. I think he kind of goes back into a secondary role here. I think the best play is Oso Ighodaro. I think regardless of how much Kolek plays, I think Oso is going to play a ton here. And at 7-4, I think is a pretty safe play. I think the only way he doesn't get there is if, we get like a Tennessee situation where they're up 45-18 at halftime or something like that. So, I really like Oso here. I think he's main lineup viable. And then on the Western Kentucky side, they're 30th in bench minutes in the country. So they're going to play a deep bench. We've got some injury situations there that we have to monitor. Dante Allen has been out, Kurt. He was a starter before he was hurt. I think this is the first good value spot. He practiced yesterday. I think he's going to play and start. He's at 4.1K. Really like Dante Allen here if he's starting, and he's in this first window. So it's not like a lot of the games on this slate where they're going to lock on DK because they're idiots and can't move their lock times. We're going to have this lineup before the game locks because it's the first one at the location of the day. So if Dante Allen starts at 4-1, he's had a good role all season. He's a down transfer. So I like him a lot here. Outside of him, Western Kentucky's got Brandon Newman. Remember him from Purdue?
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of threes. Marquette, top 15 in the country in three-point rate allowed. So Brandon Newman's going to be chucking a bunch of threes here. He's at 5K. He's probably going to play high 20s, 30 minutes or so. I think he's a good play. Don McHenry right above him, mainly a scorer, but we have a decent projection on him at 5.5. You can tell they play a deep rotation because their highest price guy is 5.5K. So
Yeah.
But I think my favorite plays overall here are clearly Oso and then Dante Allen if he does start there at 4.1K. What do you think?
Okay, so I thought I was going to be kind of on a semi-island with Oso. I thought you'd tell me he was too risky. I think I'm taking a shot on him being healthy here. I know Kolek's back. Like Jones is probably going to still want to get his, obviously, because he's been the alpha for a while. But, I mean, this pace-up game with Oso, I just love him here. I love Oso here. I know it's risky, but that's how I play. I'm not sure if I can do him in Survivor, but I'd want him in my main GPP team. I want him in my main single entry team too. Like that's how highly I think of him. For the WKU guys, so yesterday with the Sanford guys, you kind of just do them all in. And today I'm doing that with WKU, but first of all, I'm rotating them all because I don't know which one is going to be. It could be Boba Carfe, it could be McHenry, it can be Newman, it can be Allen if he's back. The one thing I do like about if Allen returns, it looks like the guys who benefited most from that, one game it was Jack Edelin. The other game it was Tyrone Marshall, it looks like. The last two, it mostly Tyrone Marshall got 7 or 8 minutes from him. So that's good for the other guys, right, is what I'm seeing. So I'll be rotating the WKU values. I'll have a lot of exposure to them. I just got to hope I get the right puzzle pieces to fit. And that's kind of the name of the game today.
Yeah, I think these Western Kentucky guys are plays for if you're building a bunch of lineups like Kurt does.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, if you're playing one lineup or like 3 lineups, it's going to be tough. So, I'm hoping that Oso comes in healthy here. He did sit the last like 10 minutes of that Yukon game, but they were also getting crushed. So, I think he'll be fine here. All right, let's
well, I got one question for you. I got one question. We're going fast. Yeah. So, okay, shoulder injury for Oso, right? First of all, right? That was a shoulder injury.
I believe so.
Okay, second, safest WKU guy. I'm going to say Newman, and not just because we know him, but I'm going to say Newman as far as the safest. But who would your safest play, and who would your favorite GPP WKU guy be?
It was a knee injury for Oso. So I think my safest is Dante Allen if he starts.
Okay.
Well, not safest, but favorite play. Safest is going to be Newman because he's going to play regardless.
And then favorite GPP would be Allen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I love that. Good stuff.
All right. Let's go to Stetson against Yukon. Man, Stetson going to get just the doors blown off here. Yukon 86-63 on KenPom. Stetson actually one of the better lower seeded teams in this tournament. Like they're 218th at KenPom. I think we saw Wagner like 300-ish yesterday. So almost a full 100 ranking spots ahead of Wagner yesterday. But we don't really play guys against Yukon that are in major conferences. I'm probably not playing any Stetson guys here. We do have one guy on the playbook, Stefan Swenson, the senior 4-year point guard. I'm much more willing to play a guard against Yukon than a big man, just because Klingon is just a complete eraser at the 5. But he's up at 6.8K. He's got some huge games in his box score, but we've seen just yesterday the guy for St. Peter's, I think, was pretty popular because he projected well at 6.1K and just did absolutely nothing, just got shut down by an elite defense. So definitely have my concerns.
Yeah,
he was bad. And then on the Yukon side, Kurt, you know, they've got 5 guys who are awesome who can carry them in any given game. I tend to play Yukon guys at these price tags when they're going to get pushed because they will play the bench. You know, they're the best team in the country for a reason. They're deep. And Klingon, they have not pushed him in games where they've been blowing teams out. So I think if they get up early, you know, we could see 20, 22 minutes from Klingon here. You know, he's going to put up crazy fantasy points per minute, but really tough for me to click him on a main lineup. I think all these Yukon guys are guys that you play in like the $20, and that's about it. What do you think here, Kurt?
I don't like anything here, to be honest. And you know, I usually jam Yukon and just kind of pray, but I mean, like Danny Hurley gets these guys to stay focused. I feel like I'm going to jinx this, but I feel like they just do not overlook anyone because he's a good motivator in a sense, in that kind of sense. So, I mean, is there any life to like what Withers did yesterday, to where he play one of them backup dudes? That's more of like if you're maxing the 20 and stuff. So I don't even want to get into that, to be honest.
So I put Hassan Diarra on the playbook because
Okay,
we've seen him play a
he's good about
bunch.
some blowouts.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
think we could see him play 20, 25 minutes. The issue is he's 4,900, not 4K.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're not getting that much of a break on him. But yeah, we've seen Diarra play extra minutes in blowouts this season. So I think he's at least reasonable. But yeah, I mean, my take on this is probably passing, unless you're playing a bunch of lineups and you want to just kind of mix in the Yukon studs here. That's about it for me. Any last thoughts here?
No, it's a hard passion. I'm not playing Stetson either.
Yeah. All
If
right.
the other
New
guards were
Mexico.
cheaper, I would. They have 2 guards with 22% usage. If they were cheaper, I'd play them. Maybe they're cheaper on FanDuel. It doesn't look like it that much.
Yeah.
Pass.
All right. Banger game next. New Mexico, Clemson. New Mexico, who we rode all of last week, bet them every game of their conference tournament. They're finally healthy. They are favored against Clemson, even on KenPom. New Mexico at 78-76 is what he's got them. Good pace to this game, total up over 150. We saw Donovan Dent was sick in their championship game, which is why his minutes were down. Expect him to be back to full minutes here. This game's going to be awesome. Really hope New Mexico wins this one. Just love the makeup of this team. Been kind of trying to bet them all season, even though they've been not super healthy. Now they're fully healthy. They're starting 5, I think, can rival some of the best teams in the country. They're up in the top 20-ish of KenPom now, Kurt. We have some awesome pricing in this game. This is the first spot that I'm really excited about. Jalen House was just incredible in that conference tournament, taking 18, 20 shots a game. He's in the mid-7s. JT Toppin, the freshman big man, has been awesome all season. Super consistent too, not a fouler. I think he's a great play at 7.5. I think you can play at least one of those 2 guys. I wouldn't even mind playing both of those guys, honestly. We've got sick projections on both of them. Just seems super safe, right? House more of the scorer, Toppin more of the peripheral guy. And then I think we have other good plays too. Like Don Dent, I think, is an awesome pivot to House. We've seen Dent take over games. He was up at like 8K earlier this season. So I think Dent's a good tournament pivot. I think Nelly Jr. Joseph is a good like game stack / pivot from Toppin. I think there's a bunch of good plays on New Mexico here. What do you think?
Bunch of good plays here. I'll go ahead and give out a roll. I think you're doing yourself a disservice if you go start your build and you don't have at least one Western Kentucky guy and at least one New Mexico guy. Not saying you have to have more, but I think you're doing a disservice by not having one guy from those teams in every lineup. I mean, they're ones like their tempos of Clemson's tempo is fast. Wait, oh God, I can never read Maddie's thing. So Clemson's 256 in tempo. I don't know. I'm so lost right now, Steve.
Yes.
Yeah. That's just weird. It's wild to me because they have such friendly games, I feel like, at least for me this year. But anyways, I think what I'm trying to say is I don't think they'll have any issue going semi closest to New Mexico's tempo. So I want a piece of New Mexico. I want a piece of Western Kentucky. My guys in this game, I also want to confirm Donovan Dent, it wasn't an injury. It was an illness, correct?
For the tournament. He was sick, yeah.
He was sick. That's massive news right there. That's stuff we need to know because people think maybe was he hurt? Was he like what did he do to his ankle or something? It was just an illness. So I want to go back to that at 6,700. I think it's a great play. And GPP, I'd probably rank it Dent, House, and then the forwards. I've not really been good with the forwards this year, but they are very, very live in tournaments. And then on the Clemson
I love
side,
Toppin here.
Yeah, so I'm not a good Toppin guy. So talk to me.
Yeah, I just think he's super safe. He doesn't foul. He's probably going to walk into a double-double here. Clemson, not a great defensive team, so I'm not really scared of PJ Hall defensively. So, and then, let's talk about PJ Hall. He's sitting there at
Yeah.
7.8K. He's screwed us a bunch this season, but, he was 9K for a while for a reason. I think he's an awesome play here. Gets the massive, massive pace up. New Mexico is going to want to run. Love PJ Hall here. I think I'm probably going to have at least two spots from this game and my main lineup. The Clemson side's got some tournament plays too. Ian Shefflin, if you're not playing PJ Hall, really good rebounder. Usually they both don't go off together, so I would play one or the other. And then YOLO Joe Girard at 6'5" is going to absolutely chuck in this game against New Mexico. I could see like Jalen House and YOLO Joe just going back and forth in a really fun game here. So awesome game overall. I think you need to get some pieces. Any Clemson thoughts here?
Yeah, I definitely think Joe shoots a lot, but I feel like the guards will kind of frustrate him just because he's used to this. He's used to these guys being like so much more athletic and faster than him. So it's probably something I'm diving too deep into. But I like PJ Hall. I wish they just tempted us with Jack Clark's price because I would definitely full with that in GPPs. But prioritizing PJ Hall here for me, and then on everything else. I do like the theory of dueling pianos between Joe and House.
All right. Yale, Auburn. Ken Palm's got this Auburn 78-65. I took Auburn in this game minus 12 and a half, something like that. Auburn has had no issue with just stepping on teams' throats this season when they get up big. They have really run away and blown out a bunch of teams, which is why they have that Ken Palm ranking of 4. It's, he weighs blowouts pretty heavily. Auburn blows out a ton of teams, especially bad ones. Yale, just not the caliber of Auburn here. They should have no problem pulling away from Yale, I think. DFS-wise, it's kind of tough. Janai Broome at 8.7. It's a good price for him if they were going to get pushed. Kurt, we've talked about it all season. Pearl's got no issue playing Broome 21 minutes when they're just kind of coasting in games. I wouldn't play Broome unless you're playing a Yale guy because you're playing it as Yale keeps it close. Broome's got to play 26, 28 minutes. One of the highest fantasy point per minute guys in the country. He could absolutely smash this slate, highest score on the slate if Yale can make this a game. And Pearl's got to play him 28-ish minutes here. I don't think they do, so I'll probably be ignoring this game entirely. The Yale side, Danny Wolf is the stud, but he's got to deal with Broome inside, who's just an elite interior defender who's going to draw fouls too. So I could see a Danny Wolf foul game here. And at 8-3, if that happens, you're just dead in the water. So I'll be avoiding Wolf. I think Matt Noling is interesting at 6K. Has been kind of on and off hurt this season, but is back right now, seeing good minutes of late. And I think he's a decent play in the mid-range with the huge pace up. I mean, Yale 327th in tempo, Auburn top 60. So, they do get the pace up spot here, but it's probably Noling on Yale and then Broome on Auburn, but not excited about it because I think they blow him out. What do you think?
I love playing Broome. We got the absolute nut game from him in the SEC tournament, but the thing is, like you said, you've got to have them keep it close and real close. Not I'm talking Bruce Pearl close because these other coaches will leave them in when they're up 17, 16. No, Bruce Pearl, he's pulling them boys. It has to be almost low double digits or they're getting pulled. So that sucks because I really do want to play Broome, but I hate all these Yale guys. If I do have to pick one, I'll trust the projections to go Noling. But all these guys have been bad to me. Paulidakis, I wish he was cheaper because these last 3 has a 23% shot rate, which is sexy. Could see that lowering here against Auburn's defense. So mostly a pass for me.
Yeah, I think the way I might play this game is bet some player props like Wolf unders. I think I'm going to bet after this show. Under, I think he's at 12-ish, 12 and a half points, something like that. I'll probably bet that because he's either going to foul or just not score against Peru. All right, awesome game. The one that I'm most excited about the entire day here, Colorado, Florida, two teams that I really, really like. Bummed that they're playing each other in the first round. Was kind of hoping they would be in separate brackets here, but here we are. We got two top, 25-ish teams in a 7-10 game. Pretty egregious, I think, from the committee, but they do a bunch of that shit, so I'm not super surprised. Ken Palm's got it, Colorado 81-80. And we have a ton of plays here, Kurt. On the Colorado side, KJ Simpson has missed a maximum of 1 minute in their last 8 games. He's played 39, 40, 40, 40, 39, 39, 40, 40, so he's going to be out there the entire game in a 160-ish total. I would kind of throw out the Boise game as far as box scores. Boise plays super slow, good defensive team. This is going to be the exact opposite. Florida, 18th in tempo. They're going to run with Colorado. This is going to be an awesome game. So really like KJ if you can get up to 9K. If you can't, I think Tristan Da Silva, our guy TDS Kurt, under 7K in this game. Man, if you're not playing TDS at 6-8 against Florida, you're never going to click him. This is the spot for him. I wish he did more peripherally. But, we know that that's in there for him. So, I think we see a ceiling game from both of those guys here. And then Lamp, 30 and 35 minutes last 2 games. They've kind of leaned on him inside. And without Handlogton, Florida's got some pretty soft interior guys. Condon and Haw are not the defenders that Handlogton is. So I think Lampkin is really cool for tournaments. And, if you want to stack this game up, I think that he's a guy that you add in there. What do you think about the Colorado guys?
I love him, and I think a great way to get KJ Simpson, you play Denzel Aberdeen, the freshman on the other side, who's really the last 2 games of the SEC tournament just blossomed. 21, 23 minutes. I doubt the Micah Hand-Logden thing gives him much more, but they could go small and push him to mid-20s. I like his game, man. I know it's risky, but it really helps you fit KJ. Another rule I'm going to add for today's slate is I want one guy from this game, at least one from this game. So it's 3 rules we got so far. Keep a track. And hey, I'm the biggest Florida fan for a Florida State fan. I hate you guys, but I love you guys. Like Micah Hand-Logden went to Marshall. That's where I graduated for. I was so happy when he transferred out and got the opportunity to play for you guys. But I really do feel like I root for Florida when they're not playing Florida State. As crazy as it sounds, I love their basketball team. Florida team can kind of eat their basketball. I mean, the football team can eat shit, but like I actually am a little slut for their basketball team. Now, I love Lampkin. But I'd probably rank it KJ, TDS, Hadley, Lampkin. I know that's crazy, but
no. Hadley blows, dude.
I don't mind Hadley. I think he gets in there and does the dirty work. Now, maybe more of a real life like glue piece kind of thing, so it doesn't translate to fantasy. But he'll be 0% owned in a great game. It's probably is a little bit closer, but this is just my hot take. I think Hadley has a good game today. That's what I'm trying to get through. Dude.
The doctors told him to take the mask off like a month ago, and he still hasn't.
This is dark. Like he was born in the darkness. He was raised by it, molded by it. On the Florida side, the biggest question for you, Steve, what are you doing with the bigs? Do you trust Condon? Do you trust Howe? Do you think they go small? What are you doing with these Florida bigs?
So this is the best game stack on the slate, I think, because there's so many different ways that you can do it. I'm going to be playing, I think, 5 tournament teams today, and at least 3 of them are just going to be stacking this game up different ways. The way I'm going to play Florida is probably going to play one of the guards. Pullen and Clayton, both great plays. Pullen, I think, a safer play just because he has the higher assist rate. Clayton's more of the scorer. You mentioned Aberdeen. He's tricky here. He saw 20-plus minutes back-to-back games in the SEC tournament. Do we trust the minutes? He looks pretty good. He had the one awesome game and the one shit game. He just wasn't playing before then, though. He could play 6 minutes here. So I think he's
Aberdeen?
fun. Yeah.
I don't think he plays 6. I think he has to get at least 15.
They could just go back to more Kugel, I don't know.
I think if they go back to more Kugel, then they'll lean on that small ball, Tyrese at the 5 in those minutes.
Yeah, he scares me a bit here for like a main lineup. I like him for tournaments though.
He should. I mean, he should be like. There's no value today, so 35. Anyone 3,500 should scare everyone.
Yeah,
fair warning.
I think he's a good play for the game stacks.
Yes,
the main lineup thing scares me
because it helps you pick KJ. That's what my main point was. If you're playing KJ, I think Aberdeen.
I think for game stacks you play Aberdeen with KJ, TDS, or Lampkin. I think Haw is a better play. I think Haw is a better play than Condon just because of the price. I think they're each going to play like 25 minutes here. And I'll just take the 1,500 or so savings on Haw. I think they just kind of split time there. But yeah, I'm pulling over Clayton, but like both guys. And then Tyrese Samuel, I haven't really gotten him right much. He's battled fouls of late. Like, if he doesn't foul, do they just push him to like 30, 32 minutes? If they do that, he's going to smash here. So there's just a lot of ways to mix and match this game. It's a really good tournament game here. Tough to like pick one guy for a main lineup outside of TDS. I think TDS is like the main lineup play if you're grabbing one guy.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good survivor rate too. Two more things in this game. If you're down early, maybe you swap to Kugel. Like if you're dead, swap to Kugel and hope that he does get back in the rotation due to the injuries and stuff and lights up Colorado. Another thing, I never understood why Pullen projects so much better than Clayton. And then you watch the game, it's like Clayton's the guy. And the projections just don't tell you that. Clayton is the fucking guy for Florida.
Clayton's the scorer, yeah. So in like these high-scoring games, Clayton's the guy who could go for 30 actual points, you know?
Yeah. Okay. That's all I got.
All right, let's keep it moving. It's already 9:40 here. A&M, Nebraska, another good game. Man, we have a ton of good games today. Nebraska, good matchup here for them. Ken Palm's got it 74-72, high-scoring game here. The deal with A&M, they've got a bunch of really good wins this season, but they just can't shoot, right? So they're going to have Wade Taylor and Radford just relentlessly attack the rim here. They're going to have the way better athletes than Nebraska. It's just like, are they going to be able to shoot here? They get paced up, and the prices are gettable. Like, people are not going to play Wade Taylor at 7-8. They're not going to play Boots, and the projections are like a point or two under the other guys that we've talked about in this range. This is a sneaky game to kind of shoot out, especially if Nebraska's making their shots here. So I think that Taylor and Boots, Radford are contrarian plays in the 7K range. And then on the Nebraska side, I don't even know what to do with these guys right now. I want to play Rink Matz at 6'5", but he's been playing like 22, 23, 25 minutes, which is odd because he was playing low 30s the whole season. So I'm probably not playing any Nebraska here despite the good spot. I think Nebraska wins the game just because A&M's going to make you shoot threes. Nebraska can hit threes. Hopefully people play Tobinaga at 7-2, probably the worst play on the slate at that price. So yeah, this is probably a pass game for me and just a good real life game, honestly. Kurt, you're muted again.
This is horse shit. This is abomination. I don't know what to make of Nebraska either. Like, they keep pricing up Bryce Williams, even though he's not like nuking. It's really making me mad because I love mid-price, like mid-6 Bryce Williams. I'm trying to make sense of Rink Match why he's not played much. Like, maybe it's like the fact that the other teams went small, but that's not really not the case. I have no idea.
No.
The guy's a great floor. He's a great floor play if he plays 30, but I don't know what's going on. Coming on at 7-2 is absolutely egregious. I think this is not a good matchup for him. Like, that little guy, man, he's going to have to be electric getting off screens and stuff to get some stuff off because A&M is longer and they're a lot quicker. So tough on that one. This is a fairly correctly priced game. They even priced up Manny Obaseki to where we can't keep jamming him in, even though I love playing like small forwards against Neb. It's really Boots or Radford it's either Boots, Radford, or Wade Taylor for me. And then tough pickings.
Yeah, the prices are just really tough on Nebraska given their current roles. They kind of expand.
I got to back up big. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say they've kind of priced everyone up, and now that Wilcher's back in the fold, and he's eating away enough minutes from people that it just kind of makes Nebraska tough. What are you saying?
I got to back up big. Stevie.
Go for it.
Henry Coleman. There's a narrative. I mean, we see the tournament last year when they were doing this like hot potato big thing. Solomon Washington's done great about avoiding the fouls. I think if you're around 20 max, you throw Henry Coleman in the pool because he can come in and get you 20. There's a scenario where Washington fouls and Coleman comes in and gets 20 at 3,800.
That is definitely more of a Kurt play than a me play.
20, your 20th lineup, you're like, man, who the hell do I play in this lineup? And you're like, oh, Henry Coleman, 3,800. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we can power through the next two games real quickly. Vermont, Duke. Ken Palm's got a Duke 73-62. Vermont bottom 15 in the country in pace. So, going to be tough for the Duke guys to get there. We got news last night, Kurt. Caleb Foster's going to be out for the tournament, which means that the Duke rotation is going to be tight. I think we kind of wait on Duke and play him on Sunday here. No price, discount on Filipowski here. I think Tyrese Proctor's the best play on Duke just because without Caleb Foster, he's literally playing 40 minutes a game. But we could see them go to the bench more in this spot against Vermont, especially if they get up early. Don't really think Vermont pushes them here. Any plays for you? I think for me, it's avoid Vermont unless you're playing like a Fiorillo for 4-5, but not really too interested in that. And then Duke is going to be wait and see on Sunday.
Do you have Matt Bretto projected in?
Yeah, I think Vermont's getting guys back here too. So that I think that kind of muddles everything up for them.
Okay. So mostly a passion for this game. I think it'd be hilarious if Flip has a game here. So I'm definitely going to have him as far as my high price guys. Like him over Broom just because I think that he can get pushed a little more. So I don't get the other ancillary pieces right for Duke unless they kind of tempt us with the pricing, which they're not really doing here. So pass. Besides Flip.
Yeah, I think it's a pass.
You mentioned we're speeding this through this. The two rules for me, I feel like you mostly agree with this. One guy from WKU, one guy from New Mexico, and then one guy from the Florida Colorado game. That's not crazy for your lineup construction.
No, I think that's good for the way that you play, for sure.
Go ahead.
All right. Grambling, Purdue, big spread here. Purdue 82-59 on Ken Palm. Grambling plays super slow, which is going to play right into Purdue's hands. I think Purdue just pounds these guys here. The issue with Edey is that, he was kind of banged up in the Big Ten tournament. I could see them taking the foot off the gas here with Edey and with Braden Smith. Because Braden Smith was banged up too. He was pretty bad in that last game. Was it the last game where he left and then came back, or was it the game before? I don't know. Like he played full minutes in that last game, but he was just kind of out there.
Second to last, yeah.
Yeah, I think Purdue just kind of gets up early, keeps the foot off the gas with Edey and Smith. So I'm going to pass here, even though that price tag on Braden Smith with an 82 team total is really nice. We haven't seen him under 8K in a while. I think this, Kurt, is the spot where you can play some of like the shitty big men, the cheaper bigs. I think like a Trey Kaufman-Wren at 4K is interesting here. Someone in the chat just said that too. Just because I don't think that they push Edey and Braden Smith coming off the injuries. What do you think?
I think, Kaufman-Wren obviously is going to be the guy next year, but I think you can do the same with Heidi. Same. If you're like, man, I want to get Kaufman-Wren. This one is in that narrative. Oh, I'm $400 short. Okay, I'll just play freaking Heidi. But obviously, Kaufman-Wren would be the preference if you're doing that narrative. I don't mind Lance Jones. Keep him in your pool. I don't know what he's projected, but maybe he gets some of the blowout run if Braden Smith and Edey come out and they keep like Jones in. Could you see that? Like they're up like 17-20 maybe, and they kind of let Jones play a little bit of the garbage time. 5,700 has been playing terrible. Maybe it's just a last name type thing. Probably a cross off, but I don't know. I'll probably have him.
Yeah, Scott. God, Corey Washington is so bad. I think that play here today, the guy who's projecting well, who's shitty and playing a good team, is Stefan Swenson against Yukon, who projects well at 6'8". So that's where I'm at there. All right, let's keep it moving here. Charleston, Bama. Fun game here. Huge total, 173.5, Kurt. Charleston plays a ton of dudes, though, so kind of tough to trust overall. We see a couple of these underdogs today with huge rotations. They're led by Rain Smith, guard at 6'5". I think him and the big man, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Brzovic or something like that, are good plays for game stacks here. I don't have a good read on Charleston outside of Rain Smith. I think he's clearly the best play. This is they're more of Kurt plays than me, just because you kind of rotate them, I think. Even as the dog, they have an 82 team total here. We got the 59th and 9th tempos here. Bama's going to make them run. And the good thing is the spread is under 10. So I think Rain Smith is a really good play here. On the Bama side, man, if Charleston can keep this a game, Sears, Estrada, Grant Nelson, just awesome tournament plays here. Bit pricey for cash or like a main lineup, but Sears, Estrada could just go for 50 in this spot with a 93 team total here, Kurt. Do you have a favorite on the Bama side? I know Grant Nelson can be really frustrating because he fouls like a dipshit, but if he can avoid fouls at 7K, he's got really good upside in that price range too.
Yeah, it's got to be Grant Nelson for me just for the price. I think Estrada is he's got it up there, and he's just in a funk right now. In the SEC tournament, he just looked like he couldn't get anything to go. That could easily change here. But 8,200, do I want to pay to find out? Not really. I'd rather just wait and see. Grant Nelson would be the points for value play. And then, man, it sucks if we don't get Griffin and Right Shell, like one of them out so we can play the other one. And he plays 40 minutes. That kind of sucks. I think Griffin is in play. He played 20 minutes, returning from injury. He's 5'2". That guard field eligibility, maybe in a mini stack, he's going to chuck. I actually don't hate that play for large field stuff. And then for Charleston, I think it is Rain Smith and the big man, and then Rogers if you can't afford Rain Smith in your little mini stack here. I don't see these other guys. It's really just those. It's Rogers, Brzovic, and Rain Smith. And I say one of them probably does fail. The other two one probably goes off, and the other probably gets there. That's what I think happened with those three guys. Frankie Palencia. I don't know. No, yeah, it's just those three for me.
Yeah, no, I think so. So you'll just be rotating those guys then?
Yeah, and I don't want to say this is not a rule, but it would make sense if you have one of the Charleston guys just because the pace of the game. But like, I'm only going to do two of them in game stacks, mini game stacks.
Bruce in our Discord just noted that I have Cox and Cummings from Colgate on the play.
Oh my God, that was on purpose. That was on purpose.
Yeah, I might have done that on purpose. All right, this one will be quick, Kurt. Longwood, Houston, 74-55 on KenPom. I took the Houston minus 24. Houston coming off the thrashing against Iowa State. You got to think that they come out and just pound Longwood here. I took the first half Longwood team total under. I took the full game team total under. Not a chance I would play a Longwood guy here. Any Houston love for you, Kurt? We've seen them in blowouts also be a team that pulls their foot off the gas and play the backups.
Yeah, this is a big extra for me. Francis would have been fun if they priced him down for us and then hoped that Sharp still hobbled, but I'm not. No, you can't. You can't do it.
Yeah, I think this is just like a 79-50 game, something like that.
Love it.
All right, JMU, Wisconsin, popular upset pick, JMU. I'm on Wisconsin here. KenPom's got a Wisconsin 77-72. We've seen them play well in pace-up spots, Kurt, especially AJ Storr, who was just awesome in the Big Ten tournament. Really tried to carry them to the championship, but priced up here at 7-3. Thoughts on him first? Corral at 6-7. It was good to see him bump back up over 30 minutes in the Big Ten tournament as well. So thoughts on the Wisconsin guys first?
Here we go. So Storr is my kind of guy, but when these guys get priced up, I want to step off. But like this could just be his March moment where he's just going to hit everything. So I don't want to jinx him and say he's a bad play, but I'll probably be lower. Tyler Wall and Crawl would probably be the two looks for me. I'm just going to go Wall to save the money. I don't think anyone's a must here. Klesmit starting to get his thing back. That's interesting. So probably Klesmit, Wall for me, not must. They're good last piece. Like, oh, okay, I got this much left in util. Let me throw this guy in, send my late hammer. I don't think that's bad. I think they both have a decent floor as long as they don't foul or do something stupid. That's my Wisconsin take. I don't think we've talked about JMU yet. Let me dig into them.
Yeah, JMU's got some interesting pieces here. Terrence Edwards.
Dickerstaff.
Our guy Dickerstaff is there from Boston College. We have a good projection on him. Kind of a tougher matchup here, but he's used to the level of competition here, being from BC. Terrence Edwards is the usage leader here. Big wing, usually plays over 30 minutes. The peripherals keep him pretty safe there at 7K. Bickerstaff, 26%. Rebounding share last 3. I like his upside at 6'1". Noah Friedel, the transfer, plays a bunch of minutes, kind of a 3-point shooter. I think he's good there in like the mid 5s if you get stuck in that range. I think there are a couple good plays here. I think Xavier Brown's probably in play too. So no like main lineup plays for me from JMU, but I think at least 4 usable pieces that you can have in the pool here with Edwards, Bickerstaff, Friedel, and Brown.
The key thing from this game, JMU, second and 3-point D, so they run guys off the 3-point line. So let me go ahead and X off Klesmit. I know that's a different competition. Hey, but you know what? You're going to put some freaking respect on the Sun Belt Conference, baby. Go Herd. And then Wisconsin, like almost dead last at allowing threes. So I'm not going to sit here and act like I know the JMU 3-point shooter, but whoever it is, hoping it's Brown. Steve, can you give us the 3-point shooter for JMU? That opens my play today from this game.
Noah Friedel.
Friedel? That explains why you're projecting well. So Noah Friedel will be my play of the day from this game. Do I have and ask me if I've seen him all year? No. Does it matter? No. He's going to go in Flago, or at least he's going to chuck threes because Wisconsin will give him up.
Yeah, but you have seen him before, Kurt.
Noah Friedel.
He was at South Dakota State for like 3 or 4 years. When they were good, you've definitely played him in DFS before.
No, I think I might know his teammate was on that team. South Dakota State a couple years ago. Who was their best player? Was that when they had the big whitey?
They had like Baylor Shireman.
Yes, that's the guy right there. Big whitey. Not big, but
Shireman and like Douglas Wilson too.
That team was fun. So Friedel was a chucker. Okay, Friedel.
Yeah. That game ended up that team was 30-5.
God, you guys are getting me stiff on Friedel. Let's go. I don't remember him, but
all right.
Actually, any shoot threes.
2 games left. Let's wrap it up. I'm going to do the St. Mary's game first, and then we'll talk about TCU last. Grand Canyon, St. Mary's, really good real-life game here. Going to be lower scoring, though, Kurt. Ken Palm's got at St. Mary's 69-65. So we've talked about a bunch of higher total games. This one's 131. Grand Canyon has a shot to win this game behind Tylen Grant Foster, the 5-star who's had kind of a long road to get to this point, but he's been on a tear. Probably not going to spend up on him against St. Mary's. I just don't play 8K guys against St. Mary's, let alone a mid-major guy. And then on the St. Mary's side, Mitchell Saxon, I think, is the best play. Like him and Marcellonis, just been great down the stretch. We got good projections on both of them. Not going out of my way to play those guys, but I think that they're definitely in the pool. What do you think here?
Yeah, I just do not like rushing these St. Mary's guys, to be honest. Tylen Grant Foster, 8,500 priced out in this total. Stevie, you might have to help the people here because this might be a cross-off for me.
Yeah, I think if I were you playing a bunch of lineups, it would be Marcellonis and Saxon, and that would be it.
Marcellonis is he's expensive though. Like they're up to like 7K, and this is a 7.6, 7.3 on this slate is really like 8.2 on other slates. So that's tough.
I mean, they're not great, but I think they would be in consideration. I probably wouldn't play Aiden Mahaney here. He's so scoring reliant, and it's a.
You know who reminds me of those 7K play? Reminds me of like Black Shear yesterday and like Stevens, where you just kind of take the floor. Good floor plays.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up. TCU, Utah State. This is going to be a great game to end the Friday night for us, Kurt. Ken Palm's got it TCU 77-75. I took TCU. This is the first power conference team that Utah State has seen all season. Kurt, we do like this TCU team quite a bit. Our guy, Emmanuel Miller, under 7K, got to have some interest there. So start with him. And then I think this is where I'm going to be taking some value on this slate. We saw Ernest Uday return to the starting lineup a couple games ago. Didn't do much in the conference tournament, but actually I had this pulled up. Give me 1 second.
24, 19, 24.
Yeah, but like playing good minutes, and that's why it's not pulling up. I had 2022 TCU up because I was pulling up that South Dakota State team. Yeah, so I would throw away the Houston. Like he had 3 tough matchups, right? Like they played UCF, who plays slow, and
they're good
defensive team. Oklahoma is a no rim team, and then Houston. So he's a bit of a fouler, but he's going to rebound the ball. I like Uday here at 4.8, and then we saw Chuck O'Bannon and the starting 5-2. You know, he's going to take some shots. Played good minutes down the stretch. So I think both of those guys are interesting for cheap. So yeah, for me it'll be Emmanuel Miller, Uday, and O'Bannon in play for TCU. What do you think?
Yeah, I really like just taking a shot. Like both those guys, if they really are going to give O'Bannon minutes, Uday and O'Bannon are nice little floor plays. If they're both going to play this, it's like 20 plus. Just get Cork out of the lineup. My God, is he horrendous? He is so bad. Emmanuel Miller sub 7K is on this type of slate is with the upside of 40. Whoo, boy, that's very nice. Like because everyone else is priced like with his level 7.6, but he's 6.9K. After those tough matchups, like UCF's good defensively, Houston's good defensively, Oklahoma, like you mentioned, Emmanuel Miller might be core. He might be my play of the day. I'm sorry, Steve, I'm stealing it. I love Emmanuel Miller. The guards have been tricky on it. I don't think they're bad plays. I mean, like Jameer Nelson, ever since starting, has been awesome, but he's also had to face those bad matchups. So, Emmanuel Miller play of the day. I really do like a lot of these TCU guys. Don't go crazy with it, even though it's a nice total. I wouldn't go crazy with the TCU guys because they do tend to flame out sometimes. But the ceiling is really nice for them these prices. I'll let you break down Utah State because all I really know is Osabar, and I think he's a great play too.
Yeah, so let's talk about Utah State real quick. They are led by their 2 studs, Osabar and Darius Brown. Brown, you know, you get the $1,000 discount there. Projection is pretty good. We've got him for 34 DK. Do you have a favorite between the two? And like, if you're playing, like, say you use Miller and one of the cheap TCU guys, are you going to try to run it back with an Osabar or a Darius Brown?
So yes, I think if you do, did you say if you run 2 TCU?
Yeah, like say you run Emmanuel and one of the cheap guys.
Yeah, I think you do run it back with and then here's what I do with that. Like if it's 1,100, I'm upgrading. I like it a lot more. Then yeah, I'll just take Brown. But if the 1,100 like man, I just want to take Osabar. I feel like he has a better floor. So.
Yeah, I think both guys are good plays here. Interesting game stack. You know, this game's got a sneaky total over 1.
Late hammer.
So
TCU and late hammer have been good to me in the past. That's all I'm saying. A.K.A. Mr. Lampkin, circa 2021.
Yep. And we saw the late game hammer come through last night with the Kansas game. Winners all had that. It was more of an obvious spot. This is more of a sneaky spot. But we've got really good plays on both sides here. All right, we did about an hour here, Kurt. We got through all 16 games. You want to give the people your overall slate thoughts and then your play of the day.
Tight pricing is a lot more different than yesterday, so I don't think you don't have to jam in all value. I know I mentioned some, but that's just kind of how I play. I'm also going to have a lot of lineups where I do more balanced, and I think that is probably the optimal way to go today is building more balanced with how tight pricing is. That's my overall slate thoughts. I wonder how it'll be tomorrow. Maybe they'll go back to soft pricing again. Wouldn't be surprised. My play of the day will be my Luka play of the day will be Emmanuel Miller.
Your Luka play of the day, nice.
Maybe Luka play of the day.
Yeah, my thoughts are it's just a way different slate than yesterday. If you haven't played College Hoops DFS. This sometimes happens with us where they'll kind of change the entire pricing algorithm from day to day. And, each day is a puzzle. So this is a different one. It's a different type of slate. The scores are going to be lower. I really like the 7K range. So I'll be building through the 7K range today. Those are some of my favorite plays. My play of the day, Kurt, is going to be JT Toppin from New Mexico. He's my favorite tournament play of the slate. I'll be playing JT Toppin on my main tournament team. All right. We got to build our own lineups here. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow morning, same time, same place, to discuss the 8-gamer. I'm very glad doing this content that we have 8 games, Kurt, instead of 16 back-to-back.
Yeah.
Writing the playbooks, has been tough. And you can see I got the bags under my eyes already, and it's only Friday. So we'll see everyone tomorrow morning. Good luck today.